He trying to make me out of a bad guy and try to make him like a saint. Like, I'm cool with him believing in God, but we know for sure.
We try to be as much fair as we can.
Yeah, I know. I already know that you can like get disqualified for all that, or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know.
But I had him winning. I had him up at least 3 rounds.
Oh.
At least 3 rounds.
Oh, not including the knockdown.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis finds himself under intense scrutiny following a shocking statement from WBA President Gilberto Mendoza regarding his fight against Lamont Roach Jr. Mendoza took to X, reiterating his stance. "Let me repeat, I stand by what was expressed last Sunday in Ring Magazine. Based on my 30-plus years of experience, taking a knee without a punch should be ruled a knockdown. It affected the result of the fight." This statement has fueled controversy, suggesting the fight's outcome may have been influenced by an incorrect ruling. Fans and analysts are now calling for a review, or even a potential overturning, of the decision. Adding to the turmoil, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, admitted to a technical issue that prevented officials from properly reviewing a potential knockdown in the 9th round. This revelation has sparked outrage, as the missed call could have played a crucial role in the final result. With Mendoza already doubling down on his position, pressure is mounting on NYSAC to take action and address the growing controversy surrounding the fight.
To override his decisions or knockdowns. Some skeptics have suggested that Willis's call benefited Davis unfairly, but we do not subscribe to that notion. In our long experience judging fights, we see no evidence of favoritism, only a referee prioritizing the physical safety of a fighter who appeared compromised by an eye injury. Which I actually get. I understood that statement because, hey, look, Steve Willis he didn't call it a knockdown.
You take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown. All right?
So I think it's going to be very difficult for the New York State Athletic Commission to review this and then call it a knockdown. Because here's the thing. The fight could have gone completely differently if Gervonta was told that it was a knockdown officially. Gervonta could have then responded differently because, let the truth be known, Gervonta didn't even know it was the 12th round when it was the 12th round. He thought it was the 8th.
Forgot where he was at. He thought he was still in the 8th round. He thought he still had rounds to go.
12th round. He said, damn, it's the 12th? Yeah, it's the 12th and you're down. Tank didn't know what round it was. So, if it was brought to his attention by Steve Willis that it was officially a knockdown, the fight could have gone differently, making it very difficult to review this after the fact and overturn it. But the problem is, still, though Steve Willis did not call it a knockdown officially, he also didn't call it a slip.
You take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown.
He had to pick one or the other. And according to the rules, if it's a slip, the referee has to let it be known that it's a slip.
Tank Davis addressed the controversy surrounding the 9th round, explaining that he took a knee because something got in his eye and he didn't want to draw attention to it. However, he also admitted, "I didn't know I could get disqualified for this." His statement has only fueled further debate, as fans and analysts now question whether the fight's outcome was affected by the missed call. With the WBA President Gilberto Mendoza already stating that taking a knee without a punch should be ruled a knockdown, pressure continues to mount for an official review of the fight.
But I must say, do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on?
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
WBA President Gilberto Mendoza recently presented Tank Davis with a special gift, originally given to him by a fan, symbolizing their close relationship. This gesture highlighted the mutual respect and admiration between the two. However, despite their bond, Mendoza made it clear that rules must take precedence. He emphasized that while he respects Davis, He cannot defend him if he violates the regulations. This statement reinforces the importance of impartiality and integrity in boxing governance, ensuring that personal relationships do not interfere with the fair enforcement of the sport's rules.
President of WBA.
I got a gift for you from a guy. If you're admiring this a kid that made this. Yeah, he's just a kid that made that for you. His name is Jair. I'll let you know his name. Jair. No, he didn't sign it.
MMA journalist Ariel Helwani reviewed the Davis vs. Roach bout, describing it as satisfactory but not exceptional. He paid particular attention to the controversial 9th round, when Davis took a knee, arguing that in boxing, such actions should be ruled a knockdown under standard regulations. Helwani's perspective echoes the sentiments of many fans and analysts who believe the referee's decision not to count the knee as a knockdown had a significant impact on the fight's outcome. The incident has reignited debates about rule interpretations and the consistency of officiating in boxing, further fueling calls for greater clarity and accountability in the sport.
And this, that, and the other, like it all kind of felt like an afterthought. And then the fight happens, and truth be told, like the fight wasn't the best fight of all time. It was fine. It wasn't your vintage Tank Davis fight. There wasn't a knockout. There wasn't a knockdown scored by him. It was just sort of fine. If that was your first time watching Tank, you're probably like, okay, yeah, sort of, I get it. But it kind of speaks to his demeanor going into the fight. Like it just felt a little bit underwhelming. And then we get to the 9th round, and then it's complete madness. Because in the 9th round, you probably have heard by now, the fight is moving along, and it is important to note that Lamont Roach lands a jab or two, and where we want to start the clock is up to debate. But he certainly lands a punch, and then seconds after that punch lands, that jab lands, all of a sudden Tank Davis takes a knee. He quickly takes a knee, and there it is right there. 9th round, 217. He is taking a knee, and he's looking to his corner. And he also, ever so briefly, it appears as though he's almost trying to call time. Let me tell you, in case you don't know, in boxing, you take a knee, that's considered a knockdown. You cannot call time. And you know what you also can't do? You also can't go to your corner mid-round and ask them to wipe your face. Ask them to do anything. You can't get a swig of water. You can't do this. You cannot do that. But that all happened. And so the referee for this fight is a legendary referee. Steve Willis, you have probably seen him in GIFs. He's got that kind of like big-eyed look. You've definitely seen him. He's a veteran of the fight game. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm not suggesting he was in on it. But there was certainly a fumbling.
Fellow lightweight boxer Devin Haney weighed in on the Roach vs. Davis fight, acknowledging Lamont Roach's skill and expressing his belief that Roach deserved the victory. Haney's perspective carries significant weight, given his expertise and stature in the boxing community. His comments add to the growing debate over the fight's outcome, further amplifying discussions about the officiating and whether the results should be reviewed.
What was your assessment on his fight against Lamont Roach, and what are your thoughts on the knockdown that wasn't called in round 9?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good fight overall. Lamont, I always knew Lamont was, he wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming here to fight, but he did a lot better than I thought he would. I thought he won the fight personally, yeah, the no knockdown, that was unheard of. It was the first time I've ever seen it with my own two eyes.
Post-fight tensions between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach have escalated on social media, particularly on X, formerly Twitter. Both fighters have engaged in heated exchanges, debating the outcome of their first fight and the potential for a rematch. As controversy continues to swirl around the bout, fans are eagerly watching to see if the tension will lead to an official rematch, settling the dispute once and for all.
He forget that, let me take a knee. That's a knockdown. But either way, it looked like they may have an immediate rematch. Roach and Gervonta Tank Davis goes back and forth on X, and here's what they say. Which it seems to me that, okay, if the New York State Athletic Commission overturns the result of the fight, then yeah, it's an immediate rematch anyway. Like Lamont Roach said, he has it in the contract. But If it remains a draw, it looks like Tank still want to push for the rematch. And I'm hearing that, the fight that they were going to have, which would delay this rematch, was a fight with Pitbull. You can argue that a rematch with Lamont Roach would be far better than a rematch with Pitbull. But let me know how you feel in the comments below. Show is adult.
Several boxing analysts have reviewed the fight and concluded that, even without counting the controversial 9th round incident as a knockdown, Lamont Roach appeared to have won at least 3 more rounds than Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This analysis further fuels the debate over the fight's outcome, with many questioning whether Roach was unfairly denied a victory. As scrutiny over the judging and officiating continues, calls for a rematch, or even an official review, are growing louder.
That's why I call it cherry pick. And he got his ass kicked, in my opinion. I know people gonna come for me, but I had him winning. I had him up at least 3 rounds. At least 3 rounds.
Not including the knockdown.
Yeah. It was, to me, if it would have been 116, 112, I'd have been okay with that.
So
in Roach's favor.
You let your psychology get to you too, huh?
Hey, I know what I was watching.
What did you have it after 4 rounds, Zatel?
4 rounds.
2-2.
I'm sorry, after 6. Why did I say 4?
4-2.
Because I had it 4-2.
4-2 Davis.
I had it 4-2 Davis. What did you have it after 6?
I had it 5-1 for Roach.
For Roach?
He said, okay, I told you on the show, now. That's why.
Listen,
At
that
the
first
end,
round,
I felt like
some of
I had Roach
couple
winning.
judges
Yeah,
give
at the end
the
of 12, I had 7-5 Roach.
Yeah, that's 7-5.
Say again?
Didn't some of the judges give the first round to Tank?
I think so. I think he might be right about that.
How? He landed 1 punch.
Yeah.
Roach landed 3 punches to his 1, and he was the aggressor. How did Tank win that round?
Yeah. Because he's Tank, Naeem.
Within the boxing community, a faction believes that Lamont Roach Jr. was the rightful winner but was denied victory due to Gervonta "Tank" Davis's prominence and marketability in the sport. This perspective suggests that external factors, such as Davis's star power and financial draw, may have played a role in the fight's outcome. As debates continue, critics argue that high-profile fighters often receive favorable decisions, raising concerns about fairness and integrity in boxing officiating.
Tender regime, boxing, take it back in with y'all, man. What's good? What's good? Look, Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Gervonta "Tank" Davis versus Lamont Roach. Incredible fight. Incredible fight. Tit for tat, wit for wit, athleticism for athleticism. What an amazing fight. I had Lamont Roach winning 7-5. 7-5, 8-4, I had Lamont Roach winning. Now, I understand the draw politically. It's Tank, he's a star. You don't want to just give him an L and he didn't just get his ass whooped like from dusk till dawn. But he got outboxed tonight. Lamont Roach won that fight. But I understand the draw politically. How did you see the fight, bro? Tell them how you saw the fight.
Yo, I saw Roach winning the fight, man. I had Roach winning the fight 7 rounds to 5, Tank, meaning Roach favor. I don't know how we ended up here, but we can say it was the politics that, Tank a bigger fighter. If you want to beat the king, you got to beat the king. In order to beat the king, you got to knock him out. And they ain't doing this fight. But hey, the next fight going to be big bread, though. So that's all I got to say, man.
Yeah. Great fight, man. Great fight. Great fucking fight.
Renowned boxer Canelo Alvarez has weighed in on the controversy, stating that the knee taken by Gervonta "Tank" Davis should have been ruled a knockdown. Canelo's opinion carries significant weight in the boxing community due to his experience and status as one of the sport's top fighters. His stance adds further credibility to the argument that the officiating may have impacted the fight's outcome, intensifying calls for greater consistency in boxing rules and regulations.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point, and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my opinion.
WBA President Gilberto Mendoza has advocated for a rematch, stating, "I have asked the WBA Boxing Committee to follow up on the direct rematch case closely. However, we believe the parties, as expressed in the post-fight interview, will amicably agree to run it again." Mendoza's proactive stance highlights the importance of resolving the controversy and giving both fighters a chance to settle the dispute definitively. However, not everyone supports the idea of a rematch. Boxing analyst Word Smith directly responded to Mendoza's call, arguing the draw for Lamont was already generous. Now he's trying to litigate his way to being gifted a win, which we all know is a ploy to force a rematch. Rewarding underhanded tactics makes the committee look vulnerable. What if Tank doesn't like the decision and drops the belt? Smith suggests that Roach is using external pressure to secure another fight instead of earning it outright, a sentiment shared by some boxing fans and analysts. Additionally, there is growing speculation that Gervonta Davis may avoid a rematch altogether, given his history of not engaging in tough rematches. Critics point to his decision not to pursue a second fight against Ryan Garcia and other challenging opponents, arguing that Davis prioritizes protecting his undefeated record over taking unnecessary risks against difficult matchups.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Roach again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight, he will not fight those guys. That's just not who Tank is.
Throughout the fight, Lamont Roach showcased his technical ability, resilience, and conditioning, pushing Gervonta Tank Davis to the limit over 12 hard-fought rounds. The controversial draw only further highlighted Roach's capabilities, proving that he could compete at the highest level. His performance has earned him widespread respect, with many believing he deserved the win and solidified himself as a legitimate threat in the division.
Was Lamont Roach robbed in this fight? What do y'all think? We're seeing a lot of the comments. People seem to think he was. He did outland Tank Davis. But was it by enough to get that decision? What do you think? Here's one of the punches he threw at Tank Davis right here. You can see the effect. Tank Davis did not look like normal Tank Davis tonight. You could see Lamont applying the pressure all night, especially around that 6th round area where you usually see Tank Davis take off. I'll tell you what, one of the first fights I paid for that we got our money's worth. What an ending. So a majority draw was the decision. But what do y'all think, guys? Do you think Lamont got cheated out of this decision? Or do you think the right call was a draw? It was a wild night. And then the knee, right? The knee was bizarre. Why did Gervonta Davis take a knee? That was strange to me. It came out of nowhere. He said it had something to do with something in his hair or whatnot. That was weird. Lamont thinks he won the fight. I think we're definitely going to get a rematch, but I want to ask the people out there, what do you think? Was Lamont robbed tonight? Let me know in the comments.
Skepticism is mounting over Gervonta Tank Davis' willingness to engage in a rematch with Lamont Roach. Given the controversy surrounding their first fight and Davis' history of avoiding tough rematches, many fans and analysts question whether he will agree to run it back. With growing pressure from the WBA and the boxing community, all eyes are on Davis to see if he will step up for a second fight or move on to another opponent.
Look, I had just finished my recovery sessions. I was pretty docile and relaxed, and then the fight, especially at the start of it, wasn't too thrilling and too action-packed, so I was starting to doze off a little bit, but I woke up a little bit more when obviously Lamont started giving him some work, and he looked good, man. I got to give respect to Lamont Roach. He proved a lot of guys wrong. I think he shocked Tank a lot with what he was able to bring, and again, we saw the controversy with the knee. To me, that's a knockdown. You can't just take a knee and decide to, go to your corner and get your face wiped. So, if that's a 10-8 round, Lamont wins the fight. So it's unfortunate, but that's the fight game. Hopefully they'll do it again and he gets paid, what he's worth.
Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before? A guy sort of just voluntarily.
We've seen Floyd take a knee and be put on the count. We've seen Miguel Cotto, take a knee, obviously to his corner, be put on the count. If we're allowed to start taking knees and run to our corners, well.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult made a bold prediction regarding a potential rematch, stating that Roach would score a knockout victory if they fought again. His statement adds to the growing belief that Roach has the tools to not only compete with Davis, but potentially defeat him decisively in a second bout.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Go ahead. You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Hey, bro, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned out. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't think he had that. I'm like, oh my. And then he's just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened to Roy.
Although some believe Gervonta Tank Davis will avoid a rematch, recent reports suggest he may be reconsidering his stance. Initially, Davis hinted at retirement following the controversial draw, but new developments indicate that he is more focused and determined than ever. If he chooses to move forward with a rematch, it could be a chance to silence critics and reaffirm his dominance in the division.
Well, it looks like Tank was not playing about this rematch, man. He's looking to probably get back in the ring with Roach by the end of May. And as far as that retirement stuff, it looks like that's out the window as well.
Course of your plans for your future.
Yeah, it definitely changed my plans. It definitely changed my plans. I probably got like 4 more fights now. For sure.
But I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. As much as, we hate the fact that he had a draw, I think this was the best thing for Tank. You could just kind of see, even in the press conferences and everything like that, he was kind of forcing himself to be interested. And I only know one person that can bring his interest back. Calvin is the key, man. Calvin has known Tank since he was a child. Nobody knows Tank more than Cal, man. He's the only person that I believe that can bring the best out of Tank. But what do y'all think, man? What do you think Tank needs to do differently in his next fight so he can get back to doing stuff like this, man, at the end of his fights? Comment down below.
Reports indicate that before committing to a potential rematch with Lamont Roach, Gervonta Tank Davis may be planning to fight another opponent first. This move could be strategic, allowing Davis to regain momentum and confidence before stepping back into the ring with Roach. Whether this decision delays or ultimately sets up a highly anticipated rematch remains to be seen. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates next time.